However, let's talk about this Calais Campbell situation. Now, Calais Campbell, as you might have heard, may be on his way to be getting released by the Miami Dolphins. Now I was watching the Woodward Heavyweights. I was watching the Woodward Heavyweights earlier before my show, and they were talking about it, and there was some confusion about whether he was going to be waived or released. And it seems as though because it's after the trade deadline, be you must be waived. So obviously, the NFL probably put that in there to go, well, we're not going to give teams a competitive advantage, so you can go ahead and have handshake deals, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, after the trade deadline to go ahead and bolster your team. You've got to be subjected to waivers. And when you're subjected to waivers, that's going to cause you to have to go to some of the worst teams in the league. But the thing about Calais Campbell being released by the Dolphins or waived by the Dolphins, what have you, if it actually happens, he is being waived so that he can go somewhere and compete. He wants to be on a contender. So now that you want to be on a contender, hold on, getting a message from a guest. It would be ridiculous for the Cleveland Browns or the Raiders or the Panthers or the insert bad team here to claim Calais Campbell, because we know it's being put out there. The story is being put out there. And I believe that's the reason that the story is being put out there. So once they go ahead and release him, unless you're just an ass, you allow the player to do what the player wants to do. Who's got a bone to pick in the Las Vegas Raiders organization with Calais Campbell? What is up, though, Lions fans? I interrupted today's video just to tell you a little bit about our sponsors. And our sponsors are none other than you, the people. If you want to become a supporter, a fan of the channel, just go ahead and scan that QR code right there on the screen. You don't have to do it, but what I would like you to do is smash that like button, subscribe, and make sure you turn on your notifications so you can get notified when the Motor City Cats are back at it. And now, let's get back to the show. I don't know. Does anybody have a bone to pick? Because that's the only reason that you see a move and you go, what's going on in Lions Syndicate? That's the only reason that you see the move and you go, hey, I know you want to go to a contender, but you're gonna sit right down here in Las Vegas with us, and just sit here and do nothing because we've got no opportunities, no chances to go and win anything. So I believe that if Calais Campbell were to be released by the Miami Dolphins, that he would find his way down to the Detroit Lions. It is the place where he has the best opportunity to contribute from the day that he gets here. All the bye weeks are gone, so we're not going to have another Zadarius Smith situation. Hopefully there's no more hurricanes or storms or anything that he has to go down and check on. So he's going to come in, he's going to slot in, and he's going to be the man from jump because Aleem McNeil is on IR. And that's just the way it is. It's not a Monty situation. Aleem's not coming back. I know we want him to come back. And I'm not going to test anybody's allegiances by asking them if you could swap plays. No. Aleem's not coming back. We're going to have Levi Onwuzurike up there. We're going to have Broderick Martin up there. I'm not, again, Broderick Martin is a second-year player. Obviously, we know he's a project. So the same mayonnaise that I had, because I had some cayenne. I had some cayenne pepper for Ezekiel Turner, but then I had some mayonnaise for him, to soften the sting. Lower the temperature because he's not a player that you expect to go out there and ball out. So now we saw Broderick Martin, and Broderick Martin had a problem in college standing straight up, but because he played at a small school, I believe it was Western Kentucky, and he was so much bigger than everybody else, um, he was able to just kind of physically dominate people. But it's technique in the NFL along with physical dominance, right? Everyone is physically opposing in the NFL for the most part, right? So now you've got to be able to dominate the man on the other end of the line, not just with your physicality, but also with your technique. So yeah, we were getting into the Calais Campbell stuff. What is up though, Lone Spoon? Um, bro, Calais Campbell, man. Like
Man,
like I was saying, unless somebody has a bone to pick with Calais Campbell, and I don't think anybody, I haven't heard anyone say anything bad about Calais Campbell ever.
he's a
Um,
great big.
Right, great human being. That's all I've heard about him. So unless
Yeah,
someone within the Las Vegas Raiders organization just doesn't like him, I don't, I don't see teams like that like claiming him. Um,
no,
so it could happen.
it could.
It
I,
needs to.
I remember, and it could have been a contract thing too. I guess I have to go back and look at the money he was getting, but I remember specifically when Odell Beckham got cut,
Hmm.
and I don't know if this is after trade deadline or before. I think it may have been after. When he got cut from the Browns. He actually just got cut recently too.
Hmm.
But I remember the same similar thing. He was on obviously people could pick him up on waivers, but he's either he or his agent were just like we're not interested in playing for anybody other than a contender, or I believe they might have been more specific with the LA Rams.
Hmm.
So I mean, it could be a situation like that. I know Calais is a good dude, and people are saying like, yo, he won't be the one to say that and put his foot down, but that's why you have an agent who will. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping that's the situation. I'm being very very hopeful in all this, but I mean, man, how freaking perfect would that be for the situation that we're in right now? I mean, you when we take stock of these injuries and who we have behind the people we lost, like you could find a name at least that I know that I'm comfortable with. And when we get to Ali McNeil, the defensive tackle position, I can't find a name that I'm comfortable with. So no, if Calais Campbell hits the open market, is willing to come to Detroit or can make it happen or finagle it to where he's a Detroit Lion, man, put me back into talking crazy about Super Bowls.
Hey, no, I'm with you 100%. I actually don't believe that in a situation such as this one, that the agent should actually have to say anything. I mean, you know what it is. If Calais Campbell is getting released this late in the season on a team which is obviously contending to do nothing, you know why he's being released. So all of you teams out there that the Panthers, the Bears, the well, I understand why the Bears would do it. Like I understand 100% why the Bears would do it. Just to keep them away from the Lions. But if you're not in our division, if you're the New York Giants or the New York Jets or you're just the Bengals, teams that aren't. I understand the Bengals think that they can do something. I don't think they can.
No,
I think it's going to take more than Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow to get into the playoffs, and then if they miraculously get into the playoffs, to make noise there, I think they're going to have more players than what they have right now.
yeah, I mean, yeah, Dolphins is the same situation. I mean, if I'm the Bengals, especially knowing like just the way that owner operates. And I don't know if it's due to like he ain't got a lot of money, and then not in a disrespectful way. And obviously he's still a billionaire, but like I mean I don't know if you know how it works in the NFL. Some owners have money, so you could some people have to sell naming rights to their stadium to pay guys.
Didn't
We
they
don't.
didn't they do that this year?
Yeah, they did that to sign Joe
Yeah.
Burrow, and I don't know. They gonna have enough to pay Jamar too. Or they have to, yeah, they gotta make a mini stadium signing. I mean, I don't know, but um, if I'm them and I'm as cheap as them, and that sounds so disrespectful either way, but if I'm more cost efficient or whatever nice way you put that,
Hmm.
I'd rather grab my defense tackle in the draft. You know what I'm saying? And have him on a rookie deal, have control of that contract versus like just a one Hail Mary shot and paying $2 million for Calais Campbell. So I think it could happen, man. I'm not gonna count. I would put the percentage at like honestly, I'd go as high as 50-60. They becomes a Detroit Lion. To
Yeah,
be
I
honest with
mean,
you.
because where else? I mean, where's he gonna go? Philly? I mean,
Yeah, and they don't even need him.
exactly. This is what I'm saying. Like, I don't see. Okay. So no. So here's the thing, right? Philly's
Yeah,
higher than us. And
and
you
claim.
know,
Yeah,
in
yep,
the waiver claim.
yeah.
Every team in the NFC that is going to the playoffs has a reason to sign Calais Campbell or to claim Calais Campbell. If you think
I
about
mean, even no, for sure. Even if it's just keeping away from Detroit.
it, exactly. Exactly. So Philly does have a reason to claim him. They're like, they don't need him. Yes, they do need him to not get to Detroit. So when you put it that way, because I didn't even think of it that way. I'm just thinking of like who needs him or whatever. Yeah, he should get to
Yeah,
Detroit, but there's a list of we're number one in the NFC. So everybody in the NFC is behind us in the order.
yep.
And so the Rams, that whoever is going to the playoffs, whether they be divisional winners, whether they be in the wild card, they all have a reason to grab Calais. And I have just poured cold water all over my own argument, which sucks. But sometimes you
But
gotta do that.
I think an agent can get in there, and if Detroit's somewhere he wants to be, I remember him having conversations about coming here, in the off season or like 2 seasons ago. I don't know if it happened this season, but I know it happened 2 seasons ago. Um, I think this could be a spot, man. I really do. I think agents can finagle stuff like that.
If you came for all the stats and none of the static, if you're trying to keep your Lions news pragmatic, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you can get notified when the Motor City Cats are back at it. And plus, you know you can't get enough of the victory buffs.